pond. I'm not going to say sunny. It's been trying, but as I was saying in last week's video, we've certainly been lacking in sunshine. Lee Ramsey, he was saying he's only just up the road and he reckons he's had loads of sunshine. Well, I haven't had that kind of luck. Looking at it, I reckon we're about 70 hours of sunshine down on the last 2 months. So it's obviously been showing on the solar. As in, I haven't made as much as I was expecting to make in the last 2 months, but there we go. Right, so if you haven't already, please smash like and subscribe. So, this week, water. Yeah, that's what we're already doing here, is keeping a puddle of water. So, water, right, now, I'm on soft water down here. So, being I'm on soft water, I obviously go through quite a bit of this. And if you're on soft water, you will too. I buy it in 5 or 10 kilo tubs. It's for 5. And I usually pop in about a cupful every 2 weeks to a month, just to keep mine up at around 4, 5, 6, 7 sort of mark. Over the winter, it's less because obviously I'm changing less water or cleaning the filters less, so the water's running out less. So I'm putting in less bicarb. Right, now, pond water. New pond syndrome, that kind of thing. Your pond water, I think it ages like fine wine. The older your pond, the better it is. Right. Now, the pond here is 4 or 5 years old this year, 4 years old this year. Now, the water's older than that. The water was in the pond down below to start with, which was 1,800 gallons. And the water that was in that one was in the pond that I had, goldfish pond, before that, which was about 800 or 900 gallons. So most of the original goldfish pond that I started with, many moons ago, that was put into the koi pond, first koi pond when it was built down there, right? Then the water from that pond down there was then transferred up to this pond. So I know it's a little bit like Trigger's brush, you know, said 10 new handles and 10 new tops like over the years, but the pond water has been running here for getting on 20 years from a goldfish pond up through. That's how old the water is. Age of your water can mean everything, right? You get old water, you're not going to get new pond syndrome with old water. It's as simple as that. So the age of your water makes a difference. All right, I think I've been lucky. I think you're better off on soft water rather than hard water. It's easy to add bicarb. But the other day, right, I've had some of this for a while now. I don't think I put any of this in last year. All right, this is only the second bag of it I've ever bloody bought. Right now, these clays and that for ponds, it's minerals. I get that. You put them in, messes your water up for a couple of days for most people. Incidentally, I'll tell you about that in a minute, how long it messes the water up for. And then you clean out your filters. What does it add to the water? It's supposed to make the dirt clump together as well. Does it? I don't know. More people are going to have to quote in on that. Does it actually make the crap in your pond stick together and the filters pull it out easier? Anyway, going back to this. Monday, right, I thought, oh, I come across this bag. I can't rotate. So put up a dose, put it in the pond. Now, the last time I used it took about a day and a half, maybe 2 days before it cleared out the water. And then it's all stuck in the filters, isn't it? But I put it in. I didn't have the upflow when I last used this stuff. But so I put a dose in on Monday morning, just before I went off to work. Trotted off to work at 7:30. Right, came back at school kicking out time, so about 3:30. Looks in the pond and bloody hell, the pond's nearly clear. I was expecting that to stay on that long. Well, by mid-evening, sort of 9 o'clock, you couldn't even tell I'd put the stuff in. The filters had stripped it right out of the water. Simple as that. It was gone. The pond was back to how it blooming should be. So we're sort of looking at about 12 hours and it was gone from the pond. Now, at that, there's no point in me putting it in if it's stripping it out in 12 hours. So then it was all stuck in the filters. Well, is it releasing minerals while it's in the filters into the water? I don't know. Anyway, since then have dropped the vortex midweek, and that had a shitload of it in. Load of it in there. I've no doubt there's a load in the upflow filter as well. The pods are looking fairly clean, so I don't think it really got as far as them. So the vortex and the upflow just stripped this straight out of the bloody water quicker than you could snap your freaking fingers. Right, but I'm going to clean the last little water polisher over here on camera in a bit, because the water through the system in the morning when I put it in, it did go white all the way through, right even into the veg filter. It was showing white, but I suspect what was coming out the last polisher was dead clear. To have taken everything out that quick, it had to be. But we'll pull that one apart on camera in a minute and have a look and see what the last polisher picked up. But I'd like to know people's opinion on this. The 2 bags that I had have been the only 2 bags I've ever bought. Never put it in a pond, in my old pond whatsoever. Never needed it. All I needed was a bit of KH buffer, or this. Right, fish are damned healthy for their age. Right. Ooh. I'll flick over to the polarizer on the lens on this camera a minute. Hopefully gives you a better shot of them. Everybody's looking well happy. Topping up with a little bit of water. Lilies have gone nuts. I'll put the camera over the top of this box here in a minute. When I pull it apart, I've got to turn the pumps off and let the water fall back down into the pond. I'll do that and set the camera up above it, and we'll have a look to see what's in it. Okay, so everything's off. It's all but draining down, so all the water, spare water that's normally travelling through and not just sitting in the filters, is now in the pond. The pond's coming up close to its overspill point, but let's strip this box out and see what's in here. Touch of the old blanket weed here on this, but got none showing in the pond, which is interesting. Yeah, let's see the blanket weed here. Right. So there's a blue medium foam. I'm just going to give them all a swill out in a bucket. Oh, look at that creepy crawlies in here. Look. Look at the creepy crawlies on that. Look. Oh, get on. We're going to love them. Well, this one's not holding much dirt, so this one's going to get an up and down in the pond. Still a few on there, but most of them went into the pond. Handsome. Whoa, they'll enjoy that. Right, look at the crawlers in here, look. But it's all clean. One of the layers here is in 3 bits. That one's clean as a whistle. Look at the creepy crawlies, that. Hoping you can see them. Good stuff, good for your koi. Yeah, I'll dunk that dunk that one in the pond. Another layer of foam. More creepy crawlies. Oh, that fish are gonna love these. Look at them. Oh, fish are going to chase these around. They're going to go nuts. Well, there's virtually no dirt in here whatsoever that I can see. Little creepy crawlies. You can see my weeds getting in here. Creepy crawlies. So there, on the bottom of the tank, simple as that. There we go. They can all go back in. That sheet is still hopping with them. And this one. Well, that's a good feed of free food there. I might even try fine foam in this one, but I don't want to be cleaning it that often, really. More than happy to do it just like I have. Well, once a month through the summer. I don't do wet hands on filters. Right, stick these back in. Let's run all the water back up again. Yeah, and up she'll fill back up again. So that's the polisher stripped down. Like I say, hardly worth it. Hardly worth it at all. Yeah, I might try a fine foam in that one. I think it might be worth it. Right, let's get on with this water stuff a minute. Okay, so onto the water again. Right, you can see I've got a couple of blocked holes on the spill out there. Right, now, do you notice the two different colours here on the Mind Your Own Business? Right, nice and green in that tray. Right, yellow over here. Okay, now, why is this yellow? Well, reason is the nitrates in the bloody pond are near zero. That's the reason. Right. Nitrates in the pond are near zero. Always pretty low here, but they're so down at the moment that it's turning that bloody yellow. Right, stuff that's in the tray is doing fine because it's got some soil in there, so it's pulling nitrates from the soil. But if you look at the band of it here, the closer it gets to the pond water, the yellower it gets. Lack of nitrates. Reason for that being this thing here, and to be honest, this year even this one's bloody struggling. They're all fighting for nitrates in the water. Alright, it's growing, but I've seen it bigger and bushier. This thing is an absolute monster. I call it monkey's face. I'll stick the bloody name of it up here somewhere. If you've got room for one of these plants in your pond system, this will eat your bloody nitrates. This is a fantastic plant. It is so nitrate hungry, it makes all the other plants suffer. Right, now on my first pond down here, I was really into the water cleaning kind of stuff there, and on that I had a reed bed, bulrushes. Right, the veg tank on my first pond was about 8 foot long, 2 foot wide, 18 inches deep, and it was completely planted out with bulrushes. One hell of a plant that is, a bulrush. But in a garden where they get up 6 foot tall or more, it can get a bit much, and I'm on the slope, so the veg filter was above the pond, and it used to hide my view of the pond. Plus, come winter time, you had to chop it all bloody down, which was a job in itself, like. No problem getting rid of it, because I still had a bit of a veg patch here in the garden then. I could just dump it on top of that, put a match anywhere near it, and it went up so quick it nearly took your bloody eyebrows off, and it was gone. But it used to grow back each year, and those bulrushes were fantastic at cleaning the water. And nitrates, this plant here is a nitrate muncher. Alright, so you want one of those if you've got plants in your pond. Right, I'm going to be jumping in and trimming these lilies back in a minute. I did have a flower earlier in the week, but well, there's been pants. It was only a white one, wasn't no pretty. I've got some like rosy pink ones here, I'll catch one of those on camera when it comes up, but you can see I'm the problem I'm having with the lily leaves here. So I need to have a bit of a chop around in there. Right, let's pop you back on the step a minute and we'll carry on with this water stuff. Okay, so the old water in a pond, fantastic. The older the water, the better. Be interested to hear anyone out there who can track their water back further than Trigger's brush. Mine, I think my first pond, it's got to be well over 20 years. 21, 22 years ago, first pond I put in. That was, like I say, about 800, 900 gallons, and it was just goldfish. Mainly because somebody gave me some. And yeah, it was just goldfish. I had that for a few years. 4 or 5 years or whatever, and then I started into the koi ponding with the second pond, and I did transfer the water from the first pond over, probably 90% of it, if not a bit more. The second pond down here, when I closed that koi pond down and moved it up to here, we drained it down. In the end there was 1,800 gallons in that. Took it down, all that out, borrowing probably 100, 150 gallons was left in the bottom just to make it easy to catch the fish. Moved them up to here, top that up, so yeah, that water. So like I say, it's Trigger's brush, but anybody out there had their water sort of longer than 20 years running like that on the Trigger's brush thing? Because new heads, new handles, still same bloody water in it. Know what I mean, Trigger? Right, yeah, the old water, definitely good to have old water. So those starting out, you know, you need to give your water a bit of time to age, and things will improve. It's a battle for the first year, couple of years. You can have new pond syndrome maybe up to 3 years after you've started a pond. It can still hit you. Alright, whether stuff like this helps, I don't know. Somebody more in the know needs to say on this, you know, is there any point in me putting it in the bloody pond? I'm wasting your money putting this in the pond if it's stripping it out in about 12 hours. Alright, what's the bloody point? Right, definitely soft water, bicarb, you're going to need it. You know, you do not want a zero reading. You want, I mean, my water's so soft, if I don't add bicarb, I'm down to, I don't even get to put a drop in. Take the first sample, boom, from the it's changed just like that. I have to add the bicarb. Now, you can run a pond with low readings like that. You know, I could manage at that, but you're safer up with it around 6, 7. You know, you can be higher. It's not harmful being higher, but if it gets low, that's the trouble, and that's when you need your bicarb. Right, now, people video in their ponds, okay? You know, if you've got a pagoda over your pond, it's easy to video your fish. Not a problem at all, right? You haven't got direct light on it, and you stick a camera in the water. Oh, it looks bloody amazing. Looks amazing from walking around the pond. Oh, it looks handsome. If it's black on the underside of the pagoda, even better. You've got no light jumping into the water. As soon as you put sunlight, open and uncovered, on a pond, and shine into the water, you stick a camera in it then, it'll look like a bloody snowstorm in anybody's pond. Alright, doesn't matter if they've got the best drum filter going. You stick a bright light above it, shine it into the water, stick a camera in it, and it will look like a snowstorm. Alright, so those of you that are struggling, you're looking at people's ponds saying, oh god, their water looks bloody amazing. Yes, if it's roofed over, it probably bloody will, but put it in the sunlight, right, drop a camera in, poof, it'll look like a bloody snowstorm. You cannot filter it down to that kind of extent where it's dead clear, because yeah, the filters are taken out, but the koi are messy buggers. They're making that mess all the bloody time. So you need to be chunking the water through the pond like once every half hour, drawing it all out so quick to get rid of all that that it's just not worth it. And like I say, if it's covered, you've got no problem filming it. But don't get sort of down in the art on the fact that your water doesn't look as good as other people's if you haven't got a pagoda over the top. Now, if you've got a pagoda over the top and you stick a camera in and it still looks like a bloody snowstorm, you do want to make an improvement or two, and that's down to filtering the fines. So we all know that filtering the fines, if you've got a drum filter and it's showing like a snowstorm, well, you're down to putting some sort of upflow filter in, something to filter it down below whatever your drum's running at. So if your drum's sort of 60, 70 micron screen on it, you need something that's down finer than that. You know, that, or maybe speed your drum up a bit, but it's power. I don't think slowing it down will improve it. You need to turn the water over faster. screens slowly block on a drum, so they normally take down below what they are. Even with it self-cleaning, those screens slowly mesh finely, gets finer. But that's the problem with drums. You've got your drum, you've got your moving bed after it, then for any other filtration, you have to either stick a shower on the side of the pond, which does nothing for the mechanical on the fines, so the only way is an upflow to your shower. But if you've got a pagoda over the top and it's a snowstorm, then you need to add something else. If it's in the sun outside and you've got a snowstorm, don't worry about it. There's nothing you can do. It's a trick with the photography that makes it look better, because there's no direct light coming into the pond. Alright? You will not get your pond water to look like somebody that's got a covered roof over the top of it with no sunlight on it while they're filming it. It's as simple as that. Alright? Get a spotlight shining the water while they're filming and it'll look like a snowstorm. So that's a bit on the water. Alright? The triggers brush stuff, this stuff I won't be bloody using anymore. There's about one dose left in here, I suppose. Might chuck it in just for a joke. Give it a month or two. But there, your water. Alright, look after it. It's what looks after your fish. So from down here in Devon, a little bit of sunshine, hopefully more soon. I'll catch you all next week for another one. Bye-bye and happy ponding.